Okay. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming to class. We are going to start seated. So start in a way that feels good in your body. Maybe you move the flesh out from the sit bones and then snuggle your sit bones down into the mat, the blanket, whatever it is you're sitting on. And start to just get some length in your spine. Wanted to read something from Donna Fald's book this morning, and it is called Breath, kind of appropriate, right, today. So, so sit well, maybe close your eyes, and it says, breath, the mindful breath, the rhythm out and in, the wave that washes through our days, creating space for stillness, sorrow, joy, or exaltation. Full, then empty, ebb and flow, breath accompanies each step into the unknown. In the breath, the soul finds an opportunity to speak. Images or intuition, poetry or wordless wisdom come and go. No effort, but to breathe and listen. Love it, love it, love it. So the breath is, obviously so important. Without breath, we have no life. And so we want to make sure that we are cultivating the ability to breathe deeply whenever we can. And it's such a beautiful part of yoga. So sit well. And we're going to start with just a really easy, relatively easy ocean sounding breath, right? So as we breathe in, and it's funny, I blanked out on the actual name of it. Do you know it, Betty? Hello, it'll come to me. So hang in there. So we're just going to breathe. I always call it Darth Vader breath. And so that's what's sticking in my head. And it is that constriction at the back of the throat. What is it? Ujjayi breath. Thank you. See, my students learn well. So sit well, Ujjayi breath. Thank you. And it is that constriction at the back of the throat. And it is like a whisper. If you were whispering, you would feel this at the back of the throat. And the way it is most often taught is by imagining a mirror on the palm of your hand. And as you exhale, that mirror fogs up. And then imagine the same mirror at the back of the throat. And as you inhale, imagine fogging the back mirror. And it is an audible breath, but it doesn't have to be a loud breath. It can be your own personal quiet breath, or it can be something with more audibility. That's a word for you. So just go slow and go ahead and start at your own pace. I'll run a few rounds with that mirror idea, just in case you're doing this breath for the first time. And so inhale here. And then if you have your hand in front of your mouth, you would exhale through your mouth, like you're going to fog it up. And then inhale, just normal. And exhale through your mouth. And inhale. This time through the nose, try to fog the mirror. Notice that constriction. Inhale normally. Exhale, fog the mirror. And as you inhale, imagine fogging a mirror behind you. And exhale, fog. And then start to notice the sensation at the throat. Softening the shoulders. allowing the tip of the tongue to rest behind the top teeth. Notice if you are clenching the jaw. Soften. Good. Last round here. Notice how your throat feels. And let the eyes open. Roll your shoulders. And then one more pranayama, one more breath work here. We're going to take a nice deep inhale in. We're going to pause at what may be the top of the breath, and then we're going to sip in a little bit more. So we're really pressing those lungs out nice and wide as we draw the breath in deeply. And then we're going to fully exhale so that that belly draws in toward the spine, and we feel the Uddiyana Bandha, or that lifting in and up of the core, right, of the belly. And so don't make it too hard. Don't make it too much. What you don't want is the top of the breath to strain, right? You want to be able to feel it and then sip in a little more and then exhale fully, and think of this expansion 360 degrees. So again, be comfortable. Change out your legs if they're getting cranky. And start with a nice inhale. Pause, and then sip in a little more. Pause and exhale. You can use Ujjayi breath on that exhale. Good. Inhale. Pause. Inhale some more. Pause. Exhale fully. Good. At your own pace here, inhaling. Pausing. Inhaling more. Pausing. Exhaling fully. And last one. And open the eyes again, roll the shoulders. Nice job, everybody. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, one hand down, the other one over. Just a nice stretch for those ribs. And maybe you move the shoulder. You feel the hand planted on your mat. And then reach over the knee, pause, let that hand come down, let the other hand come down, and just maybe wiggle in space here. You don't have to go really low. It's not about that. Just find that breath. And then whichever hand, I know I didn't say that. So if I'm mirroring, I would be leaning over my left side. I want you to take the right hand on top of the left hand. So if you're doing it the other way, if you're not mirroring me, then it would be your right hand on top. And just pause here. You can even let the head hang a little bit. Deep breath. Feel the stretch along that back long side of your body. And then let go of the hands. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, take it down. Good. Same thing, other side. Walk the hand out. Take the other arm up. Soften the shoulders, maybe soften the elbow of that standing hand, the one that's on the floor. Maybe wiggle a little bit through your shoulders and just see how that feels. Ooh, that's it. And then reach over the knee, let that hand come down, take the other hand and just start to wiggle a little bit and check it out, right? Your hands may be way up here, really close to the knee. That's okay. Wherever you are is where you are. You want to be mindful of your movement here. And then you're going to take that one hand and place it on top of the other hand. That may or may not work for you. You can shift the hand accordingly. You'll feel that stretch along that whole side, maybe down into your hip. Breathe. And then release. Take that arm up. Woo, and exhale. Straighten out those poor legs. Goodness gracious. Circle through your ankles. Maybe point and flex. And just get some movement there. And then a nice Dandasana pose from the legs. And I want you to cross your arms. So cross your elbows. Drop the shoulders. And inhale, reach up. And then cross and see if how that feels in your body. So it's slow. Again, this is shoulder movement. Breathe. Notice if you're doing it the same way each time, which I am, and then change it out. So bring the other arm in front or the other arm closer to you. Woo, good. Breathe. Elbows are crossing and then releasing. Last one here. And cross your elbows wherever you are and come into eagle arms. Now we know with eagle arms, right, that is not accessible for everyone. Depends on your shoulders, your a lot of different things, the width of your chest or your back. So you can separate the hands. That's one alternative. You can do backs of hands and separate the elbows. Lots of options here. Please no strain. And then just drop the elbows down and straighten the arms a little bit. Nice tall spine. What happened to the legs? Did they forget that they were in Dandasana? Good. Bend the elbows. Look at your elbows. Notice which one is in front or furthest away. Take the arms up and switch. Ooh, Lordy, those are tight shoulders today. Good. Breathe. Straighten the hands. Lower the elbows. Whew. Tone the belly. Flex the legs. Breathe. Good. Release. Take them up. And then exhale, hands to back pockets. Whew. So just draw them down. You can even sit on those fingers if you got something soft underneath you, like a blanket. And then draw the elbows toward each other and down. Lift the chest. Tone in through the belly. Fire up the legs. And breathe. Whew. And let go. Good. Shake everything out. Good. Last one here. You're just going to cross one foot over the other. Make sure that foot is above or below your knee so that you're not hyperextending through the knee. I got a little warm already. Good. And then bend the knee. This is a seated figure 4. That's all it is. You can be down with a straight leg. You can be partially up. You can be lifted all the way up. Again, it's going to depend on your hips. And then just rock a little. Soften the shoulders. Notice how often you tense up the shoulders, right? Good. And just breathe. Whew. And then take the legs back to center. You can either wrap elbows around knee and foot or take both arms under and grab it like it's a piece of wood and straighten the bottom leg. Ooh, yeah. Right? Big old hip stretch early in the morning or early in class anyway. Deep breath. Release it, straighten that leg. Give me a solid Dandasana. Hands down at your side, shoulders nice and broad. And release, shake it out. Good. Let's go right to the other side. Find what works for you. A little slippery with my little pink socks on. And then lift up nice and tall, maybe rock side to side. If you've been very active for this beginning of the new year, you may notice some tightness, either shoulders or hips. So we're just going to stretch all that out this morning. And then take it to center, make sure the chest is lifted. You're either wrapping elbows or you're taking it underneath like a fire log, right? And release that leg. Whoo, maybe straighten the other leg. Holy moly, is this tight this morning? What have I been doing? Good, breathe. You can rock. Sometimes this is called rocking the baby. Good, and release it straight in the leg. Give me a nice solid Dandasana. Take the hands behind. You can sit on those fingers if you want, and then press the palms back, press the elbows back, get nice and tall. Bring the head back in space and let go, shake it all out, everybody. Good, so one more thing seated before we get moving. I just wanted to scoop back a little bit. Grab one of your blocks. And you may need 2 blocks now that I think about it. So one block maybe has to come underneath the knee just to support that. If your knee is up off the ground, take that block as high as you need to, truly, to make that accessible for you. And then the other block will go inside the extended leg. If I'm mirroring here, my leg is right leg is extended. And then just feel your torso, like just very gentle, like you're doing little baby twists here. And you can let the arms go, and you can just, maybe the head moves in, and just feel the muscles of the core and notice. And then come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, you're going to take that, again, if I'm mirroring, that right hand or forearm to your block, and just reach the other one kind of up and at a diagonal. You can even take it up to the ceiling. Don't overdo it here. You can take your block and take it up higher. That's kind of a nice, sweet modification here. If you don't want to be too low, and actually that feels good because that's a big old stretch, right, for that side body. And then take that hand and reach for that extended foot. You can drop your hand on your block, your forearm on your block, extend the other one, or reach for your foot. Again, it's going to depend on where you're at this morning, how you feel. Take a nice deep breath. And then walk both hands to center. Sit up nice and tall. Move, that just sounds like a cow. Move your chest forward. Take the rounding out of that upper back. Deep breath, everybody. And then come on up. Grab your block, switch sides. Pause for a second in the middle and release the other leg nice and long. Once again, maybe a block is under the leg, right? Your other block's going to go just outside your shin or your knee. You're going to sit up really tall. And I want you, again, just experiment. Where is your spine in place? Can you move into these little baby twists? Let it be really organic. Relax. Feel it like, like you're moving waves or you're moving energy. Where is it in your body? And then take yourself back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, one hand down, the other one up and over. And think no strain, right? No strain. So what does that mean in your particular body? Good, deep breath. Watch the head. Try not to dump that head forward. Keep it in alignment. And then turn your torso. You can bring that hand or your forearm to the block, and then reach the other hand to your foot or to your shin, by the way. It doesn't have to be that low. And stretch. Big deep breath. Release that, everybody. Come on up. Walk those hands center, and then slide your torso all the way up. Keep hold of your block straight in both legs. I realize with dark pants and a dark mat, you can't really see the difference, can you? I think you've all been giving me that feedback. I see what you mean. There's a line. Okay, so I want you to sit up really tall. The flesh is away from the sit bones. Your legs are wide, but they're wide for you, which means they might be all the way in at this level. They might be closer, they might be further away. And then get really tall. If you can, in fact, let's take the block up at the highest level and just place our elbows on the block and see how that feels for you. We are pressing the legs down into the mat. We're flexing the feet, engaging the quadricep muscles, finding the breath here, lifting through the chest. Whew. Nice deep breath. If that feels fine, lower one. And that's going to take your torso a little bit forward. And again, I'm feeling super tight through the inner thighs. So I'm really not planning to go any lower. Certainly not before we're moving these legs more. If you want, you can take the elbows down even more. So think about the torso. Think about the length here. Press down through the legs, engage through the belly. Good, and when you're done with that, I want you to grab a hold of your block on that long end, take it up to the ceiling, bend the block, take it behind your head. I'm holding onto that block, the elbows are tucked in, the torso is long. Whew. And this feels like a back bend, even though it isn't really a back bend. And breathe. And then slide your legs together if you can. Whew. And find Dandasana. Lift the chest, squeeze the elbows in. Don't over squeeze your block. Press your head into your block. Take the block up. Exhale, release it down. Whew. And set those blocks aside. Well done, everybody. Shake it out. And let's come up to table pose. I am going to take off my cute little pink socks so I have some grip. And if you want to cushion your knees a little more, please put your blanket on the mat so that you can access that. Your blocks are near the front of your mat. Going to take those hands and spread. It was interesting. I did a little class the other day, and the teacher, Mark Stevens, said, spread the fingers, but not the thumbs. So when you plant your hands, spread your fingers, shoulders width apart. You can even spread the thumbs for a moment and then bring those thumbs in about halfway, because what he said was we're putting way too much tension on that joint of the thumb when we spread it out really wide. And then feel the inner elbows draw in toward each other. Feel your wrists over your shoulders or under your shoulders. Squeeze in through the belly. And notice this nice solid table pose, right? The arms, shoulders active, the knees maybe to the outer edges of the hips as opposed to the inner line of the hips. Tone the belly in, flip your toes under if you can, and lift the knees off the floor. And then squeeze the belly in. You're looking at the floor, you're finding your strength, you're holding that beach ball, you're bringing the knees and the hips in alignment, that wrists and the shoulders in alignment, and then lower down. Whew, undo your toes. Yes, cushion those knees, everybody. And maybe you squeeze back, but you don't move the hands. You just squeeze back and stretch it out. And then curl up, release to a neutral spine, recheck the hands, right? I even lift my palms. I repress through the thumb and index fingers. I shorten the distance between that thumb and index finger. Roll the inner elbows toward the thumbs, flip your toes under, draw the belly in, lift the knees. Breathe. And then see, optional, if you can lift one foot without lifting the hips. Lower, Lift the other foot, don't move the hips. Lower, downward facing dog, don't move hands or feet. And breathe. And then bend one knee, just one knee, and let the other leg stretch. And switch, bend the other knee, the other heel presses toward the floor, and we stretch and try to pull the weight out of the wrists. Breathe. Everybody tippy toes. Exhale, lower the knees. Whoo. And sit back. You can either reach back at kind of an extended child's pose or puppy stretch and breathe. And then from here, with those hands planted, I want you to isometrically pull back. Now, even if you're in table pose, which is okay, see if you can pull the hands back. So in child's pose, you're pulling back. You feel this tremendous engagement with the upper back muscles, and then pull yourself up to table pose. Flip one hand over, just stretch the back of the wrist. Release that, flip the other hand under and stretch. Go easy. And plant, last one, here. Same thing, check the hands. Engage. Imagine that you have a little blueberry underneath your palms and you're almost cupping that blueberry just a little bit, right? So just a little bit of a change here. The elbows, inner elbows move toward the thumbs move toward the index finger, so we're not overdoing it. Flip your toes under, squeeze the low belly in so you have a normal curve in the low spine. Lift the knees off the floor. Whoo! And now push yourself taller. Make those arms and shoulders work. You know you can always take the knees down. Lift one foot, but not the hips. Lower, lift the other foot. Don't lift the hips. Squeeze your belly. Lower, down dog, right from there. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Take your feet wide on your mat. So my pinky side of my feet are right toward the edge of my mat. I'm going to shake out those hips and breathe. We're almost done with this. Little strength work here. Come to plank and breathe and squeeze the inner thighs and glutes toward each other. And then down dog, feet stay wide. This is super controlled, everybody. Take it forward. I know the hands are hurting. Mine are starting to talk to me too. And down dog. Last one. Plank, wide leg plank. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze those hips, everyone. To down dog. Ooh. Walk your feet back to hips width. Lower your knees to the floor. Ooh. And either child's pose, puppy stretch, or hero pose where you're sitting up and back. Good. And whichever pose you chose right there, I want you to curl out those wrists and squeeze where the wrist and the arm meet. That's a lot of weight, a lot of pressure on those wrists and hands, and I know. So just roll it out. By the way, if you're ever home and watching TV, massage through this pinky corner, which tends to take the weight in yoga when it shouldn't, and massage the pad of the thumb, because those are places that do get a little bit of abuse in yoga. So make sure you're curling it out and shaking it out every time. All right, darlings, come on back. This time we're going to step forward with our right leg, and you're going to grab your blocks. In fact, take the blocks up nice and high. Make sure your knee is cushioned, the back knee is down. My right foot is forward. And I want to see if I can find a squareness or a levelness to the hips. And again, it is going to depend on what that means for you. If I do nothing, I feel a stretch in my left front thigh, but I also don't feel a lot of integrity. So instead, I'm going to do a little tuck a little squeeze of the glute, a little bit of a back off, and I still feel the stretch, right? Without the loss of integrity in the hip. So plant your blocks nice and solid under your hands. Flip your toes under. Don't lift up, but just lift the knee. And hold. The torso is long. You can walk the blocks forward a little bit if you want. If your blocks don't feel stable for you, go ahead and keep them at the second level. Tone the belly, level out the hips. Teeny tiny, imperceptible tuck of the pelvis, as if someone were placing their hand on the front of your left thigh, saying, just a little more away from the floor. Good. Slowly lower your knee. Pay attention. Undo your toes. Whew, and hold. Oh, and breathe. Draw the shoulders wide. Watch the weight of your hands on your blocks. One more just like that. Flip your toes under. Level out your hips. Lift the knee. Level out the hips again. Slight tuck as you engage the glutes. And breathe. One, you're here. Two, you're going to walk these blocks forward. Please be careful when they're up high. They can get unstable. And breathe. Whew. And notice. I know everybody's a whole bunch of work. Good. Walk the blocks back. Purposefully lower the knee. Whew. Slide that right leg back. Take the feet wide maybe. And either find child's pose or hero pose, or on your belly, taking a moment to break and breathe. All right, let's go to the other side. So bring those knees back in, come back to table pose, bring the left foot forward. So what we know in our bodies is really nothing works in isolation, right? We want to make sure our legs are hips width apart. We know that, you know, if we start with the feet and then to the shin and then to the quad, right? And then to the glute and hip, they're all connected. So same thing here. Your hands are on your block. You're coming into your normal lunge. First, you want to see if you can square the hips a little bit. And then if you tend, not everybody does, to drop into the front hip bone, you're going to tuck in a little bit. Yeah, right? You're going to squeeze the glute a little bit extra, and you're going to find the integrity of the muscles around the hip joint. It's like it sucks right into that hip joint and says, you're safe here. Good. Breathe. Flip your toes under. Make sure your blocks are stable. Lift the knee. Don't overlift the hips. Press through the long back leg. Squeeze the glute. Keep the chest forward. Find your breath. It's amazing how this can be this much work, honestly, because we're not doing a whole lot, are we, Betty? But we're working. And slowly lower the knee. Whew. And take a break for a second. You can straighten the leg. I know I didn't do that on the other side. And then bend your front leg. Flip your toes under, square the hips, tuck the belly. When you're ready, lift the knee, fire up the leg. Breathe. Watch the weight on your hands. You should be able to lift one hand and then the other hand, and know that the legs have got you. The core has you, so you're not overly depending on it. And then only if you want, walk the blocks forward. This is going to put a lot more weight on the front leg. We're going to work with these hips, these glutes hang in. Deep breath. Nice job, everybody. Walk those blocks back. Whew. Lower the knee. Holy moly. Slide the left leg back. Take your knees wide and either sit back on the heels or come to child's pose. Good. Circle out your hands, your wrists. Always feels good to do that. And breathe. All right, we have one more on both sides, doing what we've already done, adding one more thing. Was that a comment there, Betty? So come on up. I think I heard a ha ha, like, great. Come on up, step the right foot forward. You know you can always stay right here and breathe. So first we have the lunge without a whole lot of thought. And then we have the lunge with a little more thought with the glutes and the slight tuck of the pelvis. And we engage here the core. Flip your toes under, take the knee up. That is also optional, my darlings. And breathe. And then feel the heel press back. Feel the heel of your back foot press back as if it could step on the floor. Take your hands to your knee, harder still. And breathe. Tuck the belly in, push off your knee. Betty, watch, you're super long there. Take the arms up. Here you go. And find a lunge, right? All that work just for a lunge. Are you kidding me? Breathe. Maybe you take the hands together and breathe. Crescent lunge. Nice job. Super slow. Slow, slow, slow. Down to your block. Slow. Lower the knee. Whew. Release your toes. Slide the right leg back. If you want a little dip back, go ahead and do that. And then come up and step the left foot forward. First, find the lunge. Breathe. Do what feels right in your body to encourage the stability of the hips. Flip your toes under, just lift the knee. Once you lift the knee, push the heel back, right? You may even have to adjust the front foot because pressing that heel back moves the whole body back just a little bit. Squeeze your belly. Just take your hands to your knees. Nothing else moves. And then push up. And breathe. Take the arms up. Hold the beach ball. Now it's really warm here. And breathe. Maybe you take the hands together and find crescent lunge. That's it. Release. It's super slow. Super slow. Lower the knee. Release the leg. Move your blocks out of the way. Come down to your belly. Ooh. All the way down, everybody. I'm just keeping my chin up so I can talk. And rock the hips side to side. If that blanket is across your hips, it feels really good. Take a deep breath. And breathe. And then lift one leg and lengthen it and bring it back down. Lift the other leg, lengthen it and lower it back down. And then press into the tops of the feet so much that maybe your knees lift off the ground. And then squeeze the outer hips. And then maybe lift the feet. And breathe. And press the tailbone back, right? Back toward the heel. So you feel like your low body, your low back has lots of length. And because you've already engaged the legs, when you lift the feet, there's not a lot of strain or any strain in the low back, hopefully. And lower down. Just release it all, shake out the hips. Tuck the belly in. Press into the tops of the feet. See if the kneecaps will come off the floor. Lengthen your tailbone. Lift the legs. They're not going to go high, but think of the hips, think of the glutes, think of the belly, think of the tailbone drawing down toward the earth. And breathe. And let go. Good. Hang in there, everybody. Shake out the hips. Both arms are going to come forward. The forehead is on the floor. I'm going to keep my head up so that I can talk. Lengthen through your tailbone. Draw the low belly up toward the belly button. Press into the tops of the feet. Lift the knees off the floor. Lift the legs. Lift the head so you can see maybe the top edge of your mat. Take your right arm and slide it back behind you, locust pose. Palm face up. Take the left arm and see if you can slide it behind you, lifting the palms up toward the ceiling, squeezing through the outer hips and legs, finding locust pose. No pain, no stress. Good. Listen up. You're going to take those hands forward and plant them above your shoulders. I've got a good hands width above. Lower the legs, push your hands away from you, and come into a modified cobra. Watch your backs. You know who you are. And breathe. Draw the inner elbows toward each other. Open the shoulders, soften them down. And then slow, 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 all the way down. Release everything. Maybe bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs. And then straighten the legs. Lift only your left leg. Only your left leg. You're going to bend the knee and roll to your right side and tap your left foot on the floor. The left leg is on the floor and it's behind you. And then release it. Come back to both hips. Undo the curl, extend the leg, and lower down. I know. What the heck? Tuck the belly in. Lift the right leg. Press the left leg down. Bend the knee of your right leg. Roll to your left side and tap your big toe to the floor. Breathe. The knee is pointing up. Squeeze in through the belly. And then undo the curl. Keep the leg extended. Keep it lifted is the better word. Drop the hips. Undo the knee. Straighten the leg. There you go, Julie. And down you go. Shake it out. Lift the left leg. Squeeze the glute. Lengthen your tailbone. Bend the knee. Start to roll to the right. Use your hands. Tap your big toe. Breathe. Bring that left knee to your chest. Maybe you grab a shin and take it up. Maybe not. Bend the knee. Tap the toe. Start to come to your belly slow. Leave the knee bent. Straighten the leg. Let go. A little choreographed moves here. Last one, last side. Lift the leg. You'll feel the glute, right? Bend the knee. Lean to the left side. Tap your toe. This time, yeah, so you're laying on the left side. Your head can drop down to your arm. Yep. Bring the knee to your chest. See if you can grab shin or toes. And woo, almost fell over that time. And take the leg up. Bottom leg is grounded. Bend the knee. Bring those hands back. Keep the knee bent. Turn, turn, turn. Roll back onto your hip. And straighten the leg. Good job. Shake it out, everybody. And then bend both knees. From this position, lift both knees off the floor. And breathe. So notice here, it's not a back bend, right? Your upper body is flat. It's glute work, it's hip work. Breathe, extend both legs out, but keep them off the floor. Oh, and bend. We're almost done. I know this is just torture for the first of the year. And straight, but keep them off the floor. And lower down. Whew. Nice job, everyone. Shake it out. You're going to keep your head down, tuck up and back. Go easy here. Maybe you keep your toes tucked under as you fold into a modified child's pose. Or if child's pose doesn't work for you, lay on your side so that you can bring the knees toward chest. Deep breath. All right, we are coming up. Most chances are you're toward the back of your mat. You can move your blanket out of the way. Take your hands to the floor, lift your knees, come into a wide leg, wide at the edges of your mat, forward fold, and then walk your hands toward your feet. Now you know who you are. Maybe your hands are better served at your shins instead of on the floor. Hamstrings are long. The feet isometrically, trying to pull the toes out and the heels in. Bend your knees, look up, hands to knees. Come on up, everybody. Ooh, shake it out. That's a whole lot of floor work right there. Good. And just shake, just release. I know everybody's warm in the room now. Good. And then just take one hand and lift up. Do you want me to turn that heat off, girls? I know, right? Sorry. She's disappeared from the screen. Hang in there. I know. It was so chilly in here. Now it's super warm. Good. Circle the other arm. That's it. And then take both hands to the back pockets and roll and lift the chest, right? This is kind of a Superman, Superwoman pose. And then maybe you feel your hands on your glutes and you give the glutes a little bit of squeeze, the muscles, right? The engagement here without locking out the knees and without back bending. Keep the torso upright, but draw the elbows back. And then slide the hands down the legs just a little and slide them down some more. Keep the chin level and slide them down some more. And then only if you want, gaze toward the ceiling. Don't drop your head. Now it is a back bend, right? And slide back up and release. Whew. And circle it out, everybody. Come on back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, hands to shins, come halfway up. Exhale, let it go. Bend the knees, step back, right leg. Your right knee is up or down. We're doing the same thing. I want you to fire up the back leg, press through the heel. Feel your body, tone the belly, walk those hands to your knee, but stay low. Tuck the belly and then lift the chest. Whew. And breathe, and then find the solid center of your body. Take the arms up. Maybe the hands come together. That will throw some people's balance. So you don't always want to do that if you don't feel sturdy in the knees or in the legs. Breathe. Exhale, slow, 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 super slow. A little bit of a hop up of the back foot and a little drop of the heel, warrior one. Before we lift up, and your hands can be on your blocks, by the way, you're going to lengthen your chest across your thigh. Then take your hands to your knee and then curl your belly in to lift the chest. Woo! Press into your back leg. See if you can drop the heel and Julie, shorten up a little bit. And breathe. The hips are relatively straight. The ribs are relatively straight. Shoulders should be pretty straightforward. Press into your back leg. Inhale, lift up. And breathe. Maybe take the hands together and then lift those arms beside either ear. Nice extension in the shoulders, no pain. Big deep breath. Exhale, slow, slow, slow. Walk your hands forward or your block step forward. Bend to both knees. Hands come to knees and lift up. Woo. And find mountain pose and find that nice stability, right? And just breathe. Maybe you shake out your head. Whew, and let go of the neck and roll the shoulders back and feel tall and feel proud and feel like, yes, we've got this, right? All right, other side. Here we go. Take it up. Exhale, float it down. Hands to shins, halfway up. Exhale. Soften and step back with your left leg. Be mindful when you look at those legs, are they both facing the same direction and are they wide enough apart for your stability? Remember that that knee can come down to the floor. Squeeze in through the belly and press the back heel toward the floor. Hands to knees, nothing else moves. Start to tuck in through the belly to lift the chest. And breathe. And then inhale the arms up. And then maybe take the hands together. Find your breath. Notice it's getting easier. Release. Slow, slow, slow. Use your core, everybody. Hop up a little, drop the back heel. If you can't drop the back heel, maybe you need to shorten it just a little more, unless your ankle says no thank you. All right, hands to knee. Squeeze the belly. Lift the chest. Take the arms up, warrior one. Woo. Hands together, maybe. Breathe. Squeeze the back leg. Release the hands, listen up. You're just going to step forward and shake it out. Holy moly. Shake it out, everybody. Maybe walk up and back on your mat for a minute. Find your breath. Take a little sip of water. And then bring your blocks back to the front of your mat. This one, I find it a little interesting. So maybe you'll find it a little interesting. You're going to come into a forward fold, hands on blocks. Make sure your blocks are sturdy. And then step back with your right foot, but don't drop the heel. Your front knee is bent 90. You're looking at your back foot. And then straighten and press the back heel to the floor. And I mean, by straightening, I mean not only straighten the knee, but straighten the foot. See if you can walk your heel so that your back foot is straight. So Julie, you'd have to take your heel out to the side more. If you look at your foot, it's turned in. Nope, go the other direction. Yeah, good. And breathe. And just notice how this feels in your body. Maybe walk your front foot forward a little, keep the back heel planted, and see if you can bend your knee without skewing your hips. See if you can bend your knee again, because when we walk the front foot up, it's going to straighten the knee more. And notice the stretch in the calf muscles. Watch the weight, by the way, on the block. Keep it light. Press through the heel of your back foot. Maybe you walk that front foot up a little more. Ooh. And breathe. And then optional, but straighten the front leg. You can lower the blocks one here. Check your back foot. See if it has turned in again out of just habit or normal. Feel both inner arches of both feet lifting away from the floor. Even if you lifted your front toes, it'll help with that. Breathe. Torso can come forward. The blocks can walk forward. Keep the back foot straight if you can. If there is a reason that you cannot, surgery, pain, then turn your foot. But if it is just a stretch, see if you can stay with your stretch. And then everybody, if you walked your blocks forward, walk them back a little closer. Bend your front knee, let your back heel lift, and step forward. Bend both knees, inhale up. Exhale. Roll the shoulders down, shake it out. How are we doing over here? It's all right. I'm going to turn around because I haven't looked at Michal in a while. Take your blocks up at the highest level. Stand nice and tall, mountain pose. Feel the breath. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, take it down. Find your breath here. You're going to step back with your left leg. So it's probably not your long lunge for most of you. Adjust your pose so that your back heel drops to the floor and the foot straightens, which means for me on this side, I had to walk my front foot back some to make the back heel touch. Good. And just pause. Watch the weight of the hands, tone the belly, and just notice how this feels to you. So on this side, because of an old injury, this foot always wants to turn out. The heel always wants to turn in. And so most of the time I let it. And then sometimes I go, okay, what's gotten really tight because I don't ask this foot to go straight? And I feel it a whole different way. So maybe you do on one side compared to the other. And then maybe you crawl your front foot forward. I mean, just a little. Try to bend the front knee more while keeping the back heel down, down, down. The back heel is your focus. It's not the front. Woo, anybody feel that besides me? It's really something, especially on this side for me. And then walk the feet up just a little bit more. I don't have a 90-degree bend on the front knee anymore. I'm keeping the back heel down. Oh, see, it just wanted to slip. It's like maybe she won't notice. Breathe, and then straighten the front leg. Oh, good. You can lower the blocks if that makes sense in your body. Press into the back heel. Keep the arches, the inner arches lifted. Another way to think about that is if you look at your feet, do the inner ankles drop down to the middle? If they do, see if you can pull them back in a little bit. Good. Bend your front knee, everybody. Whew. Move your blocks appropriately and step forward. Bend your knees. Take your hands to your knees. Come on up. Roll your shoulders. You're going to need just one block here. And all I want you to do is just walk a little bit on your mat or off your mat. And feel particularly the ankles, excuse me, on that one. Because if you're tight in the ankles or in the shins, that requirement to keep that back foot straight is going to tap into some of that. So just kind of notice, and then take your block between your thighs and let's get everything back to the middle. So walk your feet in a little bit, plant your big toes, notice your ankles. In fact, look at your feet. Are they straight forward, right? Whatever that means to you. And then lift up the chest, squeeze your block. Find mountain pose. Just breathe. And then with the arms, you're just going to cross elbows, open and down. Good. Cross again. Open and down. One more this direction. Good. And then cross the other way if you can remember which elbow is in the front. You'll know because it'll feel a little different. And last one. Oh. And then hands to back pockets. The chest rises. Imagine, right? This right here, it goes up. And the tailbone goes down. And we are proud to be seen as human beings, right? With no excuses, no worries. I remember as a teenager, I was down here, right? Most teenage women in particular are here, they're hiding things, or they're not. But, right? So, how do we reclaim, as men and women, how do we reclaim the right to be here of our own accord just because? Good, release it, shake it out. Good, grab your block. We're coming down to the floor, everybody. Holy moly, look at the time. So inhale, take it up. Just one really sweet forward fold. And that's hands on blocks, hands on shins, or fingers or fingertips to the floor, right? Because we have not done a lot of forward folding. Breathe. For some of you, you can take your fingers under your feet and hold. That is a very deep forward fold for many people. Please don't do it if your body isn't liking that idea. If your hands are under your feet, release. Step back to down dog. Lower down to your knees. You're going to grab your blanket, put it under your knees. In fact, you can take that blanket wide if you've got it, just so we can use it in a little bit. And then come up on the knees. If that is not okay for you, you're on your belly instead. Lift up, roll the shoulders back, bring the shoulders down. So modification here, variation of camel pose. If you decided to come down to the floor on your belly, I want you to bend your knees where you can and breathe. You can be either in Sphinx pose like Betty is doing beautifully, or you can be flat on the floor, but I want you to just work that back bend a little bit more. Otherwise, you're taking the hands to the back pockets and you're gonna pull down. You got $100 bill at the very bottom of a very deep pocket. So you're gonna draw the shoulders back. Here's the thing, don't lift the chin. Don't lift the chin. Press into the tops of your feet, squeeze the inner thighs, and imagine somebody making the front of the body long. Breathe. So you're pressing hands into glutes. The hips are forward. The body is rounding and the chest is moving up, much like bridge pose. One, you're here. Two, the hands are going to lower. We're not taking them to the floor. Breathe. Keep the chin level, which is tricky. And then dip into your hips. Whew. Take your elbows to the floor. Step back and lower down to Sphinx. And then lower down all the rest of the way. Bend the knees, windshield wiper. You're going to need one block here. And in fact, if you're in a cooler environment and you want to throw a pair of socks back on or a long sleeve shirt back on, because we heat up quickly, but we also cool down quickly. So grab your block and then you're going to come down onto your back. That's better. And if you have your blanket spread out, go ahead and lay across that blanket so that maybe your lower part of your ribs down to your sacrum is on the blanket so that you're not being thrown off one way or the other. Pause here. I know, right? So such a simple class, but so much work. It's really interesting. It's fascinating, I tell you. All right, you're going to push into your feet, lift your hips, move the hips to the right side a little bit, just the hips. And then bring your knees to your chest. Take your block between your knees, either at narrow level or second level. The arms go out to T position and we lower those knees to the left. Go slow. And then walk the left shoulder toward the left a little bit and see if the right shoulder will come a little closer to the floor. Relax your feet, right? When we use a block here, the feet will tend to hover. So just let those come down. And if it feels like this is just a little too much, you go up a notch on your block and you take it wider. Let's see if that right shoulder will come toward or on the floor. Soften your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale it all the way out. Good. One more here. Inhale. And exhale. And then take the left arm and make a pillow for your head. So you're rolling onto your whole left side, left shoulder. And you still got that block there. And breathe. Take the right arm out in front of you and bring it up over the ear, up to the ceiling, down to the hips. You're doing like a half circle and back down toward the hips. Roll it up to the top edge of your mat. Take it up to the ceiling. Turn the arm or turn the hand down to the hip and circle. Good. One more. And breathe. And then release, come back to a twist, go easy. You're gonna hold on to your block and then take one knee up and then the other knee up and square your hips again. Once you're back to the middle, lift your hips, shift over to the left, bring your knees to your chest, throw that block between your knees, and then start to twist toward the right. Maybe the right shoulder tucks over to the right a little bit more. The left shoulder comes closer to the floor. And we take a couple of really nice deep breaths right here. Breathe, everyone. And then use the right arm as a pillow as you roll on to the right side and start to circle the arm, the left arm in front of you, overhead, down toward the hip. Ooh, and just release the shoulder. Good. One or two more circles. Do what feels good. And then open that arm back out to a twist. Hold on to your block. Release your legs. Come back to center. Set your block aside. Grab your blanket that is wider across your mat and take it around your hips. So squeeze it in. I like pull as tight as I can on one side, and then I grab the other edge and I pull like you're tucking a blanket. Well, you are tucking a blanket around you, and then pull that nice and tight, and then let the legs straighten. Baddha Konasana, right? Soles of the feet together could be another nice option here. But we're in Shavasana, my darling. So whatever you do, I want it to feel good, feel healing, feel resting. So find the pose that works best for you. Allow your body to settle back down to the mat fully. Soften the jaw, allow the belly to release fully. Notice where there may be tension and allow that to let go. Letting go. Soften even more. And then slowly start to move your feet. As you're ready, bend your knees. And just place your feet on the floor so that we find our grounding, so that we know where we are in space. And then draw your knees to your chest. Don't worry about your blanket if it is there. Roll the knees to one side and come on up to a seat. And pause here again for a moment and just breathe. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner strength and wisdom, that voice that knows, that center that knows that you are worthy. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming to class. Thanks, everybody who's online. Hope you have a wonderful day.